There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
So if you're a shop in the 12-volt electronics business and you dab a little bit in that Powersports audio, then for sure this brand today that we'll be focusing on is always on the top of your mind. Of course, we're talking about DB Drive, and more specifically, their Amphibious line of product, completely built to withstand the elements in the Powersports environment. Today we've got product expert Susano Garza Jr. who'll be joining us, along with our good friends from Importel. So don't go away. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. DB Drive starts now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected session here, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we are going on all about Powersports audio. That's what this theme is about. And of course, we're talking about DB Drive. Now, I mentioned Amphibious Audio. That is a sub-brand of DB Drive that has all the element-ready features that you need when it comes to putting in and installing equipment that has to withstand punishment, because Powersports audio, let's face it, is not necessarily the most friendly environment for electronics, but we have solutions for that, and we're going to learn all about it today. But before that, we're going to bring on the Canadian distributor, Importel, with our good friend Romesh, who will be joining us for today's session.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, good to have you on. Now, I think this is the first time I have you on our new platform, so welcome.
It is. I was like looking around going, holy cow, where are we?
Yeah, we're in a new space. You got a new background going on.
This is our new barn. We needed more space for more inventory.
When you say literally, when you have products in the barn,
when I use the term, most of our dealers know I use the term in our barn, and now it's pretty much real.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Ramesh, we're into power sports sessions. Obviously a fast-growing segment, but we all know that power sport gear is, sometimes used or can be also multi-purposed into other categories like marine or anything that needs a little bit more reinforcing when it comes to, the elements, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a huge crossover. I mean, the term power sports, marine, motor, like there's all kinds of, I feel synonymous terms that are thrown around. And power sports, I think, just envelopes kind of the bigger umbrella term that sort of, I think, covers most of it. So
DB Drive, one of those brands that does a lot of different categories. I know Importel has a really strong following with this brand, especially in the WDX stuff and the Euphoria stuff, and their Neo
Pro Audios,
right,
competition
Pro Audio
motorcycles,
stuff. But
everything.
The first time I heard wind of DB was their side-by-side demo vehicles. That kind of blew my mind when I saw that. So I know we're going to be covered. But tell me a little bit about the feedback or experience you've had with DB Drive in this category.
Well, the category for DB has been growing. Like many companies, they started with a set of marine speakers, 6.5s, and then it continued to expand from there to cans, to powered sound bars, to bigger cans, to pro audio style cans for the side-by-sides, to LED backlighting, and sort of tying everything together as a complete solution. The feedback has been huge for us.
So it's a big line. So people know we are not here just talking about tower speakers today.
Well, there's a lot of categories. Power sports side is massive.
Right. That's why we need a whole session like today just to talk about that. But we're not going to do that alone. We have the help. We've requested the help from a pro expert on the product from DB Drive. His name is Susano Garza Jr., or as he likes to be referred to as just Junior. I'd like to welcome him to the show from DB Drive.
Guys, how you doing today?
Junior,
welcome to CMA Connected.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Oh man, it's not the first time we've had DB on. We've been with DB a couple of times, but first time we've had you on. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Did you like the little intro that we did? Is it make sense what I'm saying? You know, it is a wide range of product within the DB Drive catalog, but Powersports is certainly no slouch in that listing.
It sure is. Basically, what we wanted to do is we've always been known for having not just loud, but our quality and sound is something that we basically base everything that we got on. Now, a lot of people are starting to, move into SUV. I mean, sorry, UTVs,
Side by sides and
side by
Powersports.
sides, UTVs. Now marine has been really, really big lately. So what we wanted to do is carry on what we do in our car audio side and move it onto our marine side, or our Amphibious, as you called it, which is the proper name that we use for it. So we offer a variety of, different options. We have directly for marine, we have directly for, UTV and even motorcycle too. We have some of that. We have a little bit of everything. But one thing that you'll recognize with our product is that no matter which one you grab, it's going to always be loud and there's going to be clarity to it. It's going to be some of the stuff you guys will hear.
That's the message I keep getting, no matter who I talk to at DB, and that seems to be the feedback we get from customers as well. I'll tell you what, I have an idea. Let's get our presentation ready on the side, and in the meantime, I've got a video I want to roll to kind of set the stage, give you an idea, the folks listening, of the type of product, but also the application. I think you'll see what I mean once we roll the tape. So many videos that I've chosen from. I picked that one because it's just so out of left field. You don't see that type of vehicle done up very often. But as you had mentioned, to your point, Ramesh, there's a product for every application. I think that's what the dealers need to understand.
Agreed. Regardless of who comes in, and when we go through the who, what, where, when, why, we definitely have enough product to do from mild all the way up to wild.
Nice.
And it's just kind of understanding where everything fits, and hopefully that's where we're gonna.
Well, that's why we got this guy right here today.
Yeah.
Right?
We got the man, the myth, the legend.
Got the man. All right. Well, I'm ready to learn. Let's dive into a deeper dive into DB Drive Powersports. Let's go ahead and throw up the presentation, and we'll let Junior kind of set us up here.
Okay. Well, this is basically setting up our, we carry a little bit of everything for these, UTVs, ATVs, and your boats. We have in between our Powersports line, we have our Neo series, amplifiers, which we have is basically, your small chassis, high powered amplifiers. We have a mini, and then we also carry, a standard size one, which we got all the way up to.
He says standard, but
they're still
really
small.
not. It's really small.
Well, I mean standard marine,
Right.
It's
It's
still
smaller
really
than a lot of
small,
marine amps. It's smaller than most marine amps.
Correct.
For the power output.
Correct. And like I said, I'm sorry?
No, then sorry, go ahead. That was the Neo amplifier line. Yep.
Yeah, those are the Neo amplifier lines. Now we carry over our Powersports into our DB Link. So we have specific amp kits that are basically tinned 100% copper strands, of course, to withstand the elements and all that. And then we also have our WDX line, which falls into that same category. Our WDX line is really heavy right now in motorcycles, UTVs, just about in everything. People even use them for their vehicles because they sound so good that you can basically drop them in anything and, they're going to perform.
Even an open top Jeep, things like that, you'll start
especially in an open top Jeep. Yep.
Okay.
So we, throughout that, we also, we have a specific marine woofer in a 10-inch application that we like to use. it's very common to put underneath the seats of a lot of these, UTVs where, they have very limited space. So that's a slimline woofer. It'll handle up to, 500 watts, 250 RMS, very clean sounding woofer. It's not just, a marine woofer. Like I said, we gear all our product not only to perform well, but to sound good. You want it to. There's no need to basically put something that's not going to sound good inside one of these vehicles, because you're going 60, 70 miles an hour. You want to be able to hear it, whether it's on land or water.
So
that's 100 kilometers an hour for you folks.
Yeah,
out there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speak metric.
There you go. I forget we switch it over to kilometers on your side.
No worries, no worries. Couple questions for you here. So I noticed that it is a shallow mount for obvious reasons, which is nice for application, right? For installation.
Correct.
Are these for sealed, ported, or infinite baffle applications?
No, they're recommended in a sealed enclosure. They tend to perform a little bit better, have a nice tight base. You really don't want to. I mean, you can put them in a vented box if you wanted to, but they just, in an open vehicle, they tend to perform better in a sealed enclosure.
Is there an approximate recommended enclosure size for this woofer?
Anything from a 0.8 to a 1.2, they'll work fine.
Okay.
As far as in cubic inches, I keep on getting. I don't know what you get.
No,
we use cubic
he's
feet.
messing
We're all
with
mixed
you.
up. We're all
Let's
mixed
make
up.
sure.
He's just messing with you.
What is it? Maple Leafs or bald eagles?
Yeah,
Bacon,
absolutely.
buddy.
Yeah.
Bacon.
So subwoofers, such tight quarters in when it comes to power sports. So I imagine a 10. Like, I have personally not had the opportunity to listen to subwoofers in a power sport situation. Ramesh, I don't know if you've had some feedback from customers about these subs.
Lots of them in boats. There are lots of them in boats, and they're loud, they're clean, and they fit. I think applications where you need to get multiple drivers in, right? Because you can build an enclosure still small enough, right, under a seat, right, to be able to load it in from the back and then load the drivers in from the front, right?
Yeah,
So,
and we came after a lot of research. We came to find out that the 10 was actually the best sounding in an open area. So that's why we kind of just offer that one marine 10-inch woofer, because in reality, that's what gives you the best sound. An 8 seemed to be just too small, and a 12 just didn't fit anywhere. So a 10 came out to be the perfect size to be able to be a multi-fit application type of woofer.
And as far as voice coil configurations, it's the 4 ohm.
It's correct. It's a dual 4 ohm
Dual
woofer. That's what it comes in. Yep.
Okay. Very, very cool.
Okay, and then here we got our RGB series, marine speakers. I have one in
Let's take a
hand.
look.
Pretty slim. Now, what we do a little bit differently that a lot of people don't do is we actually integrate our connection for our RGB directly into the speaker to make it easier for your installation. You don't have to be messing around with the grill being separate, and it lights up right in the middle. So basically, bolt on, plug in. We use a sealed plug that connects to our RGB controller, which is a very, very neat piece, because the RGB controller works with anything and everything that we got in our line that's RGB.
Oh, so every time we see RGB, that same controller that you're holding right there controls it all?
It'll work with any one of our RGB products, whether it be in our lighting or whether it be in our marine speakers. Anything that's RGB in our
Junior, just grab the end for a second there, Junior.
Yeah, bring that back for a second.
Yeah,
I got some questions here.
So what happens on that controller is there's two different flavors. There's a 4 pot, if you will, and an 8 pot. The 8 is controlled by a Bluetooth app, a generic app.
I was just going to ask that. Okay, there's an
right.
Okay.
And so the 8 output is neat because on the install side, so when you think about installers and you got all this RGB wire, everyone's like, it's just 4 connections. Yeah, you got to solder them and you got to heat shrink them. And so each speaker is 8 connections on both sides, 4 on each side, right? And then 8 to do a pair, right? Or sorry, 16 to do a pair. Wow, I can't count. Right. So when you're talking about like when you're going down on location to do an installation in a boat, right? And you've got a finite amount of time because you're there for the day or you're there for half a day and everything's all, sorted out and you got 1 or 2 jobs. And any time you can save on installing that is huge. And all of the accessories, RGB accessories, which is, I think is where you were going there, Ben, sort of steal your thunder there.
Steal it, take it.
All of the RGB light bars, speakers, what else do we have?
Sound bars.
Sound bars. So everything that has RGB in the Amphibious line is all in the DB Lux is all interconnectable. So there's the 8-channel controller. There's also a 4-pot that uses
it's an RF signal
that uses RF, not and a remote. So everyone's like,
Mhm,
oh my god,
mhm.
infrared's IR is not going to work. Infrared's not going to work in the sun. It's RF. So there's a 4-pot and an 8-pot, and then the installation's simple because we have 2 different lengths of cable, extension cable. So if you're running it from the front to the back, instead of running a spool of wire and sitting there stripping ends.
Oh, you sell the extension cable pre-finished
Yeah.
with the
Absolutely.
So you mean my wasted days of extending tiny little RGB wires front and back? I didn't have to do that.
Now we do have the ends if someone does want to.
Oh, you even sell the ends?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Darn.
We sell ends. We even sell Y adapters too. Basically, what this
Nice.
module will do is it'll do up to 30 watts worth of separation
RGB,
or for
right.
power for your RGB lights. So if you want to hook up 16, let's say let's say our rock lights, which I was showing a little bit earlier, you want to hook up 16 of them to one module, it'll handle it. We have our chart, online. You can basically pick out how many.
I bet you can do all those rock lights. Force the 6 speakers, and maybe even a light bar. I don't. It sounds like you do a lot.
Yeah, you should be able to. And like I said, we have Y splitters. We have extensions of 10 feet, 3 feet, foot. We have everything that you need to make that install, a breeze.
Sweet.
Go right through it, and everything's gonna work.
That's nice to know that the guys at DB thought about that, because
it's huge.
It's huge. You know how much time we spend just trying to extend RGB wires? Oh my god!
Or you get down to the job and you haven't thought it out completely, and you end up missing a doohickey or a whatchamacallit, and now you're jerry rigging something, or you have to come back and make the 1 hour, there and back.
For sure. You know what the biggest thing is, Ramesh? Especially with RGB lighting, which is so big in marine, right? Let's say, they say you shouldn't solder. You're trying not to. You want to use connectors. Those wires are so thin. What are you connecting to? You know what I mean? But with this system here, with the terminated extension cables.
So what Junior was talking about was those connections. They're a 4-pin, but they're around screw down with an O-ring. So when you said sealed, there's actually an O-ring. So you can feel it as you tighten it. It'll snug up, and you'll feel the pressure on it.
Water.
Completely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that was off topic, but you dropped
important,
RGB, so we jumped into it. But let's talk about these speakers real quick, Junior.
Okay, so we got our marine line speakers. We have them available in black. Of course, the RGB. We do have a white color available. The only thing is that it does not have the RGB at the moment. We do have that coming out pretty soon, though. Very clean sounding, loud speakers. Like I said, that's generally what you're going to hear anytime DB Drive is mentioned in anything to do with audio. It's not just loud; it's very, very clear.
So I noticed they have them in 6.5, 8-inch configuration, as well as a 6x9.
Correct.
6x9 for
so
power
6x9. So 6x9 will fit in under a seat in a boat.
Oh, okay.
Right. It'll fit if the particular application has a certain shaped can that's already there. Right. But the height sometimes in the bench in the smaller boat is an issue. Because you might not have 10 inches to go with the tent with a sub, right? So sometimes you might have to compromise with 6x9s, or it's an older boat that already has 6x9s in it, and you just don't want to cut holes in it because it's going to cost as much as a boat, maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's the cutout size for the 8-inch? Is it really big?
No, it's actually, I believe it's a little bit. When I say a little bit over 7 inches for the cutout.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, 8 inches. The big coaxials are kind of the rage these days.
Yes, they are. And there's other people that make some off sizes. We decided to go standard 8, so that way it's just a basic cutout for an 8-inch.
And these are just dome tweeters. These aren't horn loaded or anything compressed.
Correct. No, these are dome tweeters.
Okay, gotcha.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
Tuned. All right. Let's continue. More speakers.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, this is very, very similar to what we have in the RGB. It's just our non-RGB models. So it's got the same sizes that you got. You got your 6.5 and your 8. A 6x9 is not available in this particular series, but we have it in the RGB, so you could still get a 6x9 from us.
I mean, I'm sure there's a cost savings if you go non-RGB, I would imagine.
Yes,
Mhm.
correct.
And as much as I like to think everybody likes disco lights, there are some that just don't.
That's correct. A lot of people don't want to have their bolts flashing in the middle of the of the lake.
All right. Oh, here we go.
And that right there is product that we're very, very proud of. Those are our towers. We offer those. Those are RGB, which I have one right here. This is our white.
Take a look.
8-inch tower. Very, very hefty. Got metal brackets, which you can basically clamp on anything from a 1.5-inch pipe all the way up to a 3-inch pipe. You can swivel it to make it, turn whichever direction you want. Got your connectors here, and you got your RGB port as well. So everything's all in one simple connection. You basically can put all your wires together, clean them up, and you got a real nice install. Very, very good sounding. This particular one comes with a compressed horn. So this is not your standard dome tweeter. This is going to be a compressed one. So these bad boys get loud.
So it's only available with compression tweeters.
In the 8-inch, yes. In the 6.5, we do have it with your standard dome tweeter. But on the 8-inch, it is only available with.
Can I see the back of that again, please,
Sure.
Junior? I have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay, does that logo turn?
It does not. No,
Okay.
it's pretty steady. I've had people that can, you can take it off and re-glue it the other way if you want.
Oh, okay, it's just an
It does
emblem.
not turn. Yeah,
It's just an emblem. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an emblem.
All right.
You can reposition it whichever way you like.
And these are
Yeah,
available.
that pivoting
Yeah.
part is key.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could show us that actually how that works.
Sure.
Because if you're putting that on, obviously maybe not an 8, but in a 6, if you're putting it on a side by side or something else, or right, you might need to angle it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, you can angle it whichever way you want. Let's say your bar is straight, but you want to have 4. You want to have them pointing towards the center. You can angle it in. You can angle it out. Some people turn them all the way around. It just really depends on what you're trying to do with the speaker. But yeah, it's real nice. You basically angle it. You would pick it up, tighten it into place, and it won't move anymore. So you're good to go.
Very, very cool. I never would have thought that Powersport guys would put these giant cans on there, but they are. That's the funny
Mhm.
thing is that they
Yeah.
totally are. And a
Mhm.
lot of them, I notice, are facing backwards, like on a boat. I've seen that.
Yeah, they face them backwards for the guys that are skiing in the back normally.
Yeah. if
No,
you're
I'm
towing-
talking power. I'm talking UTVs.
Oh, really? Yeah, a lot of guys do face them back.
I've seen that. I was like, well, why would you do that? But anyways, hey, okay, all good. All right,
tunes for your buddies.
I
Yep.
suppose. Yeah.
Okay, and this series is going to be our modal series. So basically what we did is we got our most popular selling coaxial that we sell is our modal series speakers. So what we did is we put it in a can. Now you'll notice some differences. You'll know right away when it's a modal speaker because the finish on the outside is actually a matte finish. A lot of these guys like the matte finish, so that way they're not worried about scratching them up when you're cleaning them or whatnot. So that matte finish is really nice for the UTV, ATV guys. These all have the tweeter built in, except for the 10-inch model, which has a big compressed horn. So on this one also we carry a 6.5, an 8, and a 10-inch.
So this is you get down to that 6.5 can. For the smaller UTVs is a nice application there for sure. Now, that's going to be loud. The motorcycle speakers are really loud, aren't they?
Correct. Yes, and that's what a lot of these guys wanted our motorcycle speakers. For some reason it tends to where usually your guy that has a bike will also have a boat, and they like music wherever they go. So we kind of carried over the theme of what fits in our motorcycles to fit in our boats and our UTVs and all that other good stuff.
So here's my question, Junior. As far as sound quality, what's a better buy, this one or the previous model?
Well, they both serve different purposes. This one handles a lot more power. The other one's more of a entry level. So the modal's going to be a little bit louder, more of a motorcycle speaker, like as you put it. They're both. The good thing is that they're both very, very clear in their sound. They perform well.
I noticed that this one, however, doesn't have RGB lighting, or does it?
The 6.5 does not. The 8-inch and the 10 do.
I see. Gotcha. And the brackets are different on this one.
Yes, the brackets on those are pre-fit. So those come already with some brackets where you basically it'll have a 1.75, a 2-inch, and then it has a 2 1/4 and a 2 1/2. Now, if you need anything bigger, we do sell the brackets apart. You can always purchase the brackets that swivel, so you can fit up to a 3-inch, like you saw on the previous, on the white tower that I just showed right now.
And these are only available in the black.
These are only available in the matte black.
In the matte black. Okay.
Because they're really aimed specifically more at a side-by-side kind of UTV kind of application. Yeah. Now, what's interesting about those anything in the moto line, and this is a kind of a generalization, they're really kind of more if you were kind of looking, Ben, for kind of a comparison or of the two different technologies or designs. Most of the speakers in the moto line are more of a pro audio style speaker. Okay, so from pro audio, for dealers out there or consumers that know the term pro audio and what sort of the design features of those speakers are, they're really higher efficiency, much louder or higher output speakers using the same amount of power. So those motor drivers are going to kind of rip your face off.
I mean, it says 550 watts of max power, but from my experience, when it's a pro driver, you really don't even need that type of power to really output them.
Not at all. Not at all. And like Ramesh said, I mean, basically what we did is we geared that pro audio, but for, motorcycles to work in a boat UTV side-by-side setting.
Nice.
Right. So the IP rating is 52, if I remember correctly, is 42 or 52. So it's a 52 versus the Amphibious stuff that's obviously 65 plus, right? But for a motorcycle or side by side, that's it's usually fine.
You have no qualms about throwing a puddle over these.
No.
We've been telling the Moto series for what 5 years? 5 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, about 5 years now. Yep.
Yeah. There's really no issues.
No failure rate. Nice.
Nothing, nothing that would be different from anything else from any other brand. Yeah.
All right.
It's usually user error. So.
Well, then they're just guys that just like to abuse the.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. Moving off into the soundbar category.
The soundbar category, correct. We offer two soundbars. We have our SB6 Rgb and an SB10 Rgb. Now, basically, the model pretty much explains itself. The SB is, of course, our soundbar, and then the 6 would be our 6-speaker setup, which is basically, your 6-speaker setup, your Bluetooth built in. You got RGB accent lighting on the top and bottom. As Ramesh says, we like to keep everything clean when you're wiring. So this are the wires that you basically run. You have an auxiliary input. You have an audio out. You'll have your RGB cable. And you'll have a headphone jack input too. And then you got your power and your ground as well. So you got everything that you need. All
the power. Yes, all the power wiring is on one side of the bar. And everything to do with interconnectivity, whether it's in or out, is on the other side.
Correct.
Totally makes sense.
Yep.
So explain to me why these are so popular. Junior, I want to hear from Junior first on this one.
They're really popular because, I mean, basically you can mount them on any side-by-side. You can mount them on, boats. You can mount it in just about everything. Now, the cool thing about these is that since they have that audio out, you can also link them to, an external amplifier. And then
so you can build on it. You can start with this and you can build on it.
Correct. You can build your system from there, and you can add another amplifier, some modals, whatever you want to do, and just keep growing your system from there.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the way these install and the clamping system.
Well, the clamping system on these is very, very similar to the Moto. I didn't bring any clamps with me, but they all come, with pre-sizes. They fit very tight, very snug. Just about everything that works on a side-by-side is thrown into the kit. So you'll have a set of brackets for 1 3/4. You'll have the one for 2-inch. You'll have the one for 2 1/4. And I believe the last one is 1 1/2.
And I have mounted them using the DB makes light bars, and we have light bar
Right.
mounting systems. So I've used the universal rounds. So whatever bar diameter I need, and then we just mount them.
Correct. You can mount it at the ends because
Right.
not only can you mount it with the slide-on brackets that come with the pre-clamps, it also has end mounts where you can basically mount it too from the ends, which is what Ramesh is mentioning there. We since we carry our own lighting, we have brackets that work with any size tube, and that'll fit on that as well.
Okay. Now, I notice here it says long range. What's long range audio stream? What's long range for DB?
Basically, long range is for your Bluetooth. You can grab your phone, you can walk up, 25 feet away, and your music is still playing. So on just about any length boat, your music will still stream.
And just to make sure we're clear on this, offers two models, one with 6 drivers and another with 10.
Correct. So of course the 6 driver one is about 23 inches. So let me figure that out for.
Oh no, we're good.
And the 10 speaker one is about 36 inches, which is 91 centimeters around there.
What's more popular?
Actually, believe it or not, the 10 speaker one is more popular.
Yeah, it's not even it's the 10.
Yeah, it's not even in a close comparison.
Like just if you're gonna bother buying 6, you might as well buy 10, and it's not enough of a width difference unless you're really stuck for space.
Correct.
And is there any bass to these things? Because I see small drivers, so I'm curious. I've never actually played with one of these soundbars myself.
Depends on what your definition of bass is. They have a good mid range and a good mid bass, but bass.
Like, what would I be surprised at what this sounds like?
Yes, actually, the thing that surprises a lot of people with ours is that there's almost no distortion. Of course, depending on what you're streaming into it, but there's almost no distortion in ours, even at high volume or at full volume. There's very, very little distortion on it.
I remember I was talking to Ernie once, Ernie Welch, and he showed me a video. I think we played it during one of our sessions of a truck dragging this. Was it this or the light bar?
It was a light bar.
Oh, it was a light bar. Okay, we'll talk about the light bar in a second. Any other comments you have for the sound bars by DB Drive, Ramesh?
So for dealers and consumers out there looking at light bars, the key system design, I guess, caveat with this, or thing to realize with this, is not only does it have its own source inside, but it actually has an audio input. So if you have an existing system, but you don't have Bluetooth, and you do want to stream it into the radio that's already in there, but then sometimes you want to have everything come out of the system and come out of the soundbar as well, you can do that. Right? So it can go, audio can go out or audio can come in. So it can be a slave or it can be a master. Yep. And dealers sometimes forget, even though they understand. I mean, it's obviously, aux in, aux out. It's no big deal, right? We kind of forget.
No, but it's the application scenario.
Right. We sort of forget to do the easy stuff, right? Which is, adding an RCA and connecting it to everything. And because we can go around those 3-inch bars up top, you could put that up top. Mind you, I mean, assuming that you've already got a system with woofers and stuff down low, this is just an additional set of jam, right? Yeah. And then you don't need more amplifiers because you've already amplified everything else in the boat. This is already self-powered. So as long as you get power and ground up through the tower, you can even put it on a tower or on a side-by-side or whatever.
Or golf cart. I've seen them a lot on golf carts.
Golf carts.
On rock crawler Jeeps, I've seen a ton of them.
Rock crawler Jeeps, yep, 100%. The open top ones they always leave open for sure. Okay, guys. Well, listen, we did a lot of the sound. We're going to take a quick break. We got another video that really accentuates the type of builds that DB Drive does, especially for that power sports category. So we're going to roll the tape and we'll be right back.
Awesome.
that's a perfect segue, guys. That video there showed a couple of the products that we already went through, but it also showcased a couple of the products we're about to talk about, including amplifiers and lighting options. So let's go ahead and get the boys back in here. And here we go. Let's start on these Neo V2 Amplifiers Junior.
Yes, sir. So on the Neo amplifiers, we have two different series. We have a mini Neo and we have our Neo. Pictured is our Neo amplifier, our 5-channel, which is actually something that, believe it or not, I'm very, very proud of. I've asked for a 5-channel amplifier for a while, and we're finally able to put one together that not only sounds great, but has tons of power for its small, chassis. This amplifier right here will do, 250 watts at 2 ohms to your subwoofers. It'll do 100 by 4 for your, 4 channels. We didn't scale back anything on the crossovers. Crossovers are, done perfectly, so you can get all the frequency range you need. I mean, this basically takes that sound of a car onto your, side-by-side or onto your boat, whatever it is that you're putting it on. We include a bass remote with it. Everything's there. I mean, it's a very, very complete marine amplifier.
How does that compare sound quality-wise, Junior, in your opinion, to your regular car audio lineup?
Like I said, the good thing about everything that we do is we always focus on not just, being loud, but being, our clarity on our products. So I could put it up against any one of our, WDX amps, Euphoria amps, and it's going to be a good all around amp.
Very good. Okay. Are these the most popular choice from your standpoint, Ramesh?
Oh, the Neos. I mean, we sell Neos in cars. Like
that's why I was wondering.
So popular.
Okay.
They're so popular. They just have tons of jam. Small footprint. Not hugely, not ridiculously expensive either. So they
that's
kind
a
of
big
fit.
Power 5. That's a big Power 5.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Like we were looking at the power handling of the Amphibious 10 earlier, right? You'd be able to run. Junior gave you the 4 ohm output, but you could double down to 2, providing you had enough current, maybe not in a side-by-side, but maybe in a boat where you have a bigger battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be able to run 8 speakers in one sub with that all day.
Easily. Yep.
All
and
day.
Then we do also offer not only a 5-channel, we have a 4-channel that's 100 by 4, smaller chassis, and then we have a big boy amp, I would say, in a marine that does, it's rated at 1500 max, but it'll do 600 to 650 RMS all day.
So we'll have customers I'll see web orders going through where the dealers will put in an order and you'll see a 4-channel and a mono and some other interior car speakers, other Euphoria product, and clearly they're building a system, and it fits the spot because they're so small sometimes and you just have no space.
Well, talk about small in space. Let's look at these guys. These cute little guys.
That's going to be our marine, the mini amplifiers that we're talking about. Now, basically, we got 3 different setups for it. We have a 1, 2, and 4-channel. Now, they're rated differently, but just to ease it up a little bit, I'm going to say they're all 200 RMS, just divided into different channels.
Right.
So basically, your M1 will give you 200 watts RMS.
Oh, let's take a look. That's small. You're holding that one hand.
He's palming that thing. Yeah.
Are they all the same chassis, Junior?
Yes, they're all the same size. They're all the same chassis. Just like I said, divided into different channels. So let's say your M4, which is a 4-channel, will do 50 by 4, true power. And then you have a 2-channel, which will do 100 by 2 real power.
And those are not bridgeable, correct?
No, those are not bridgeable. No.
Right. So that was one of the differences between the M and the V2 series.
Correct. The V2 series is, but of course, the size difference. Sometimes you just don't have the
exactly.
Size, So,
just something to remind people about.
Sorry, go ahead, Rush.
Do you have the cable close by there, Junior?
You mean
so one of the things that's different with the mini series is all the power and terminations are all completely sealed, right? So it's not a screw down terminal style. So for motorcycles, things like that,
I was just gonna say that's a nice size for a motorcycle application.
Correct.
And the cable that he had there, that's only part of it. There is another piece that plugs in further down. So when you're doing the install, you can run all the wire and you have a breakaway connection.
So you can service it if you
So you
need
can
to.
service it, and you can get it in there sometimes because, like, just, you know, if you're trying to put in screw terminals and you've got it in a bag or somewhere in a really small compartment, you might not be able to get in there.
Mhm.
You
Correct.
might
A
just
lot
be
of
able to get
people
the
just
4
using-
screws to screw it down. That's it, right?
Mhm.
So
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
they kind of thought of everything. It's like
They did. Let's see
kinda
what they
like they
thought about when it
installed
came to lighting.
There you go.
Yep. Well, those are going to be our rock lights now. Remember, we're talking about our
RGB kit. Yep.
RGB kits, correct? Now, that's going to be our rock light. We have kits that come with 4 rock lights, and like I said, you could do up to 16 on one module. Now, the cool thing that I didn't tell you guys earlier is that even though you hit the 30-watt maximum on one module, our actual app will control up to 10 modules at the same time, and you can sync them all together.
Oh snap! So it's infinite.
So how
Pretty
many
much.
modules were in that side by side in the video?
Yeah, that was a lot of lights.
I was trying to figure that
There
out.
was there was 4 modules, and they were all
Okay.
synced together. Yeah.
Nice.
Because
With one
everything
off.
was in perfect synchronization. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, very nice.
So yeah, that's what we have, and these are metal, where a lot are plastic. I don't know if you guys can. That's actual metal.
Okay.
So when we were allowed to have people in the showroom, I used to stand on them. We had them on display lit up. I would just put them on the
Yep.
ground and stand on them.
Yeah, they're pretty much unbreakable. I mean, you'd have to really get at it to break them.
So they're an aluminum front and they're completely epoxied rear. So I don't know how you would ever get any kind of intrusion of elements into that.
Is there a video where you roll over these ones too, Junior?
Those particular ones, I believe we had an older video. I don't have it available, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
we have ran them over. We've done all kinds of stuff.
I make fun of it because you guys always like torturing your stuff, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we shot one of our lights with a shotgun.
I seen that. I seen that.
Still works, yeah.
All right, light bars super important for UTV.
Very, very important. We have a full range of light bars. These are our actual dual row RGB light bars. So we got anything from an 8-inch all the way up to a 52, just depending on what application you need on there. And like I said, we go back to it. Same RGB module. You can use them all together, link it up with your speakers, with your lights, with your rock lights, whatever you need. You can make it all work as one.
Here, I'll give dealers and consumers a crazy idea that actually we have a dealer that was buying these, buying the small 8-inch bars. They're actually using them for marker lights in their boat.
Yeah.
Red on one, red, green, just hardwired red and green.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing with these? Like, do you need a controller? They're like, nope. I'm like, why not?
Hardwire.
They're like, no, but I'm like, why not? It's RGB. They're like, I just need red on one side and green on the others.
Just hook up the wires. That's it.
Well, yeah, but I didn't realize what they were doing with it. I was like, what? Because it's such it's a useful, it's about as useful as colored lighting gets.
Yeah.
Marker lights on your boat, right?
Yep.
Functional,
Marker lights, and then
totally
they can
functional.
also have, where they light up the sides or whatever they need to do with them too.
Right.
Mhm.
And you can use the accent rock lights too, right?
I want to just point out, on the higher quality light bars that I've seen, the polycarbonate lens is an important feature because you're bouncing around. These are
Very.
hard mounted to a frame. There's no shortage of vibration.
Yeah.
And
they're sealed. All of ours have an actual seal. They're not silicone. We actually put a rubber seal around them, so that way, the seal is good.
These are the light bars that got dragged behind a truck, no?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. They're pretty tough. Go check it out,
Yeah.
YouTube. Torture test.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, shifting gears here.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this is basically our marine grade wiring. We have different kits depending on what you're using it for. And like I said, this is all 100% copper wire. It's tin coated, so that way, it prevents corrosion. They come with RCAs. They come with your fuse holder. It's a complete kit. If you notice the part numbers, it'll basically tell you what it is. The MAK4 is a 4 gauge with a 17-foot range. Then we got the MAK8, which is only 6 feet. And then we got an 8 with a 17-foot power cable.
So 6 feet for motorcycles, side by sides, 17s for boats and things with longer runs. I use them all the time in vehicles because I mean we've done enough testing. There's enough information out there now. I think bestcarradio.com has done some testing on it as well for grounding in current carrying capability and the merits of running ground all the way back to the battery, right? And closing everything and not chassis grounding. And obviously in a boat you can't chassis ground.
You're not really you could scratch away that fiberglass as much as you
but
want.
I'm talking but I'm talking about selling them in cars though, right?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Like when someone calls looking for a kit, I don't see why I wouldn't want a 17-foot 4-gauge or a 17-foot 8-gauge with the ground being able to run all the way back to the battery.
Oh,
but
are
also,
you saying, I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry.
I sell these in cars all day.
No,
all day.
You just made me realize something. The car version of these kits have a shorter ground.
Yeah, shorter.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Power and ground are equal length in all those kits.
Right. Understood.
So right away, you're not cutting wire off the roll trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
You have enough to do it. But the other part is, even if we were, and I'll just use, because we're talking about DB, I'll use DB. Even with a oxygen-free copper wire that isn't tinned, over time you still get oxidation and stuff like we've all seen it under the hood and stuff. It eventually gets in if it's not perfectly sealed when it's installed, right? So this alleviates all that. You're never going to have crunchy wire. You're never going to have green wire. You're never going to have anything.
What about price-wise? Is it a lot more than the car?
No, it really isn't. It really isn't.
It's a no-brainer. Then it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Right?
That's it for the presentation-wise. All right, let's put this presentation away. We'll have a quick word or two here about some questions that I wrote down. No big real big questions.
Junior, these are all on Junior. It sounds like a test. Okay. I'm not good at tests.
Junior, you continue saying that customers love the products and dealers love the products because it's loud, right? It's clear, but I think it's also priced right. I think that's another thing we need dealers to understand. This is nothing that we showed today is over the top price from a price perspective.
Correct. The reason that I never talk about price is because once you go into saying, hey, we're priced underneath this, they automatically, the way the internet and everything works.
Absolutely.
Now, everybody automatically thinks that you're low-end product when in reality we have stuff that will compete with the best of anything, and it's always priced right.
That's why I use the term priced right, because I think that's the right term.
That's the correct word. I have never used and never like to use the word cheap because cheap is not.
We don't like entry level or budget or budget conscious, but it's priced right because let's face it, this category, nobody needs anything that we presented today. Let's be clear. None of it is a need product. It's all about want and having fun. Nobody needs any of it. But do they want it? Do they want it? They want the lights. They want the control. They want the boom boom and the loudspeaker. So, here's the thing. And Ramesh, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Dealers who have customers coming in that may have a UTV, they might have a boat and all these things. Remember, it's about fun. Okay, that's the first and foremost. And when you show them this stuff, you have to have it in your showroom so they can hear the difference between a regular car speaker and one of these, speakers that not only do the flashy disco lights, but they sound much louder, more clear. And there's a reason for it. We're not inside a vehicle. We're in open air setting. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about that, Ramesh.
Real world demos are invaluable. Having people be able to get into a vehicle and experience the audio exactly like it's going to sound in their vehicle, or how you can make it sound in their vehicle when the doors are sound deadened, because all these people with UTVs and boats and whatever and side by sides, they all have a pickup truck to tow or an SUV to tow their stuff with.
A tow vehicle for sure. Yeah.
Right. So not only do they have the $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 or $100,000 toy, whatever it is, they've got like a $50,000 or $70,000 tow vehicle, whatever that is. They enjoy their life. They want to enjoy their audio. Clearly they have it in their toys. They want to enjoy it while they're getting to and from wherever they're going. Right. So being able to demo it in your parking lot, in your own vehicle, whether it's a car or truck, it doesn't matter. But if you have a truck, it's a bonus because it feels like what they have, right? Or SUV or whatever it is. In-vehicle demos are invaluable. I don't want to say that I don't want to pick between the demo board and the car, but I think the car has this emotional attachment that is really, you can't replace
I'm
it.
going to say this. Having a boat in your showroom makes no sense. Okay. So you're going to have to do that on a boat. But having a UTV in the showroom
It's huge.
makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yep.
And on that topic, I just want to mention, dude, shop owners, hear what I'm about to say. If you have a customer roll up on your shop and he's got a truck or an SUV and he's got a hitch on it, light bulb.
Yep.
Unless it's towing a commercial, cargo trailer, he or she probably has some toys. But if you don't ask,
you won't know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we have one good point. Sorry, to pick up on your point of UTVs in the showroom. There are some dealers that have been, there are some audio dealers and audio shops across the country that have been able to strike relationships with the local Powersports guy because they go to the trailhead and they do like trail work and volunteer work and all different things, right? Whatever it is. And they've been able to figure out a deal to have the thing in there, whether it's in their showroom or in their install bay, and just park it out front and haul it back in and then use it on the weekends or whenever you have these other commitments. It's huge visibility for the brand of the Powersports vehicle, and it's also huge for the dealer because you get to show off all your stuff.
That could be a very interesting collaborative investment.
Sure.
For sure.
Because you're not swallowing the whole thing.
You guys hit it right on the head. I worked retail for 13 years, 14 years.
Damn, you're old.
And there was nothing better than you taking out a customer and showing them what you have in your personal vehicle.
That's the best thing ever.
I mean, there's nothing. Sit them down, tell them, look, this is what your vehicle can sound like. You don't do anything extravagant. You don't do anything out of this world. Do something that your everyday guy can afford.
Relate to.
Put in their vehicle. Sit them in there. And it doesn't matter what demo board is. I mean, just think about the comfort of you sitting down, putting yourself back, and just listening, not paying attention to the kids running around in the store or whatever's going on around them. You just don't get that from a demo board.
Okay, last question.
That every customer have a demo vehicle.
Here's my last question for you, Junior, before I let you go.
Sure.
I'm a dealer. Okay, you have my attention. I'd like to try out something here in this category from DB. What one item would you recommend I try out first to really get a taste and say, yeah, this is the ish?
Our Model Series speakers.
Really, eh? Okay.
And the reason that I recommend the Model Series speakers above everything else is because, like Ramesh said, people are putting them in their vehicles. They're putting them in their boats. They're putting them in their side-by-sides. It's just universal. Those things sound great no matter what application you put them in.
It's low-hanging fruit, and it's got huge, literally impact. Like we had some on a display board in here when people were allowed in, and it was obnoxious. Like I put them in the board, and I went, "What?" Like it was in the warehouse, and we could hear them all the way in the front office, and I got paged to shut the beep up. Nice. So, and that was just coaxials playing.
Yeah, nice. And I bet you could hear every single word, every single bass note, everything from no matter where you were standing. If you could hear it, you'll hear everything.
Nice. On that note, Junior, I want to thank you for taking the time to spend with us today and talking to us a little bit about the DB Drive line of products, especially in the Powersports category. And we certainly hope we'll have you back soon enough.
I'm sure you will.
Take care.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Junior. Appreciate it.
All right. There you go, Ramesh. I think that was a good presentation. We kind of ran through the entire line, everything from sound bars, the subs, to speakers, to amps, and even a little bit of lighting and accessories.
The lighting, the controllers. I mean, that controller, it seems really
I'm pretty
funny,
impressed about the controller, to be honest.
Oh, man, we kick so many of those things out the door every year. It's insane. It's insane.
Why wouldn't you? When you said I offer extension plugs and
pigtails.
And the pigtails.
Even if it's some other weirdo thing that's already in the boat, but you want to tie it all together.
Yes, I get
it doesn't have the ends on it.
I know. So
Don't
good.
care.
So good.
Yes.
So good. There's the digits. DB Drive products available in Canada exclusively through our friends over at Importel. When you call, you might even get this guy on the phone. Imagine that.
More than likely.
More than likely. Ramesh, on that note, thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Awesome.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
There you have it. Nice round presentation for DB Drive. Shout out to Junior for showing up today, walking us through everything. Want to remind you to keep it tuned in and locked to CMA Networks for the next couple of days. We are all up in the Powersports audio It's the Powersports Audio Sessions. There's the great brands that are participating in this event where we're talking about Powersports one brand at a time, one day at a time, right through till Tuesday, April 19th. On that note, make sure you visit our website. Hundreds of great videos. Learn about the best brands from the best trainers, different search options, easy to watch on your phone, your tablet, or wherever you like to enjoy your videos. Hey, on that note, thanks for tuning in to this session of CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop it.
Today where I'm going to go
Yo.
topics.
Roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?